And welcome back to the fourth and final installment in this video series ranking the Detective Conan movies, until more movies come out in the future. So let's get right into it with the 19th Detective Conan movie, Sunflowers of Inferno. This is another movie that heavily features Kaito Kid and his eternal rival Suzuki Jirokichi. This time Jirokichi acquires one of the 7 Van Gogh sunflower paintings at a public auction for the record price of $300 million. At the same event, he reveals his plan to hold an exhibition where all of the sunflowers painting will be exhibited and introduces 7 people under his employ that will help keep the paintings safe. But just then, Kaito Kid enters the scene to announce he is after the painting Jirokichi just acquired, which is unusual for him as he is usually only interested in jewels. After his escape, an unexpected figure appears at the scene, namely Shinichi, and offers his help in escorting the painting safely to Japan. Of course we know it's Kid in disguise, but the other characters just assume it's really Shinichi. While on the plane, Kid discovers that someone rigged the cargo area door to explode and eject the painting out of the plane, and he is barely able to catch it in time. All this is observed by Conan on the ground, who goes after Kid as soon as he spots him, but is surprised when Kid leaves without taking the painting he is supposedly after, which implies that something more is afoot here. This is another fine movie. Nothing really stands out about this one either. I did enjoy it more than the last movie, but there are some things that bugged me. The major complaint I have is that some of Kid's action in this movie seemed out of character for him, but nothing that makes me think they butchered his character. Overall, I'd put it under the 12th movie on the list. The 20th Detective Conan movie, The Darkest Nightmare, opens with a spy from the Black Organization infiltrating the Japanese police and stealing files that list every undercover agent in the Black Organization. Amuro goes in to intercept the spy, but she gets away and the scene transitions to a car chase with stunts that will make Fast and Furious blush. Akai Shuichi also gets involved in the chase and he ends it by shooting the tire of the spy's car. She escapes by jumping in the sea, but is hit by debris from an explosion caused by her car and a truck exploding. The next day, Conan and the detective boys go to the newly renovated aquarium with Professor Agasa and meet the spy sitting on a bench covered in wounds. They found out she has amnesia and offer to help her regain her memories. The detective boys quickly befriend her, but Conan and I are suspicious of her because she exhibited some abilities that would be possessed by a Black Organization member. Meanwhile, the Black Organization eliminates the undercover agents whose names were on an uncompleted message the spy sent before losing her memories, but she included the codenames of both Amuro and Mizunashi Rena in the message, so they face the danger of being eliminated by the organization. This was a fun movie, much better than the previous two. It had good tension from the organization targeting the undercover agents in their ranks, among which were some well-established and beloved characters. The amnesiac spy, although it being an overused trope by now, I liked primarily because I liked her character and her interactions with the detective boys. And the action was bonkers in this movie, which I'm always down for. And it has another great rendition of the Detective Conan main theme. So yeah, I'll put it under the 3rd movie on the enjoyability list. The 21st Detective Conan movie, The Crimson Love Letter, starts with a bang. By which I mean shit blows up. Namely in the Nichiuri television building where our protagonists were invited for a Karuta special. And yes, Karuta is a major part of this movie, but don't worry if you don't know anything about it. Knowledge of the game is not necessary to enjoy this movie. Heiji and Kazuha are also there, since Kazuha's Karuta club is in the tournament the special is about, although Kazuha is only there so the club wouldn't get disbanded. That changes, however, when her clubmate that was supposed to be in the tournament injures her arm in the explosion and they meet Oka Momiji, who claims Heiji is her future husband. She challenges Kazuha to battle her in the tournament and the winner gets Heiji. But since Kazuha is inexperienced in Karuta, she needs training, and the one to train her is none other than Heiji's mom, who is a pro at the game. So while Heiji and Conan work on a murder case, oh yeah, people are dying by the way, because after all, it's a Detective Conan movie, Kazuha is training to become Daredevil apparently, and because Heiji is guarding Momiji, who is presumed to be a target of the culprit, you know there's going to be some drama between them. But the playful fun kind of drama, not the one where they just throw insults at each other and threaten to break up with one another. I really like this movie. The case handled in it is good and all, But this is first and foremost a romance movie with Heiji and Kazuha in the lead roles. The characters and their interactions are what sold this movie for me, and when you throw in a good murder mystery and top-notch action in the mix, I'm all up for it. And I'm putting this movie under the 4th on the enjoyment list. The 22nd Detective Conan movie, Zero the Enforcer, is another banger. Literally and figuratively. It starts with another explosion, this time at the location of the upcoming Tokyo Summit. The explosion occurred as the police were inspecting the site for safety and Amuro Toru was in the middle of it. In order to find the culprit, he plants evidence pointing to Kogoro being the one who set off the explosion and installed spying software on Conan's phone so he could keep tabs on him. Kogoro gets arrested and is prosecuted almost immediately, but his family can't find a good lawyer willing to represent him, until one shows up at Eri's office saying she will represent him because she's a mob attorney, working on any case she can find, and while her record isn't impressive, she has experience with similar cases and seems capable, so they hire her for the job. Meanwhile, Conan and Amuro both work individually behind the scenes, Conan trying to find evidence to prove Kogoro's innocence, and Amuro trying to find the one responsible for the terror attack for the sake of national security. This is a return to the slower pace that some older Detective Conan movies had. It's more focused on the ongoing case and the characters involved in it, specifically on the law enforcers and how far they are willing to go to ensure national security, and the consequences their actions have on the civilians caught in the middle of it. My only complaint is that it went on for a bit longer than it should, seemingly adding a climactic action scene at the end because every Detective Conan movie has to have one. But it contains a stunt that involves using a tow truck trailer as a ramp to jump on top of a moving train with a car, so all is forgiven. Overall, a very good movie, and I'm putting it under movie 11 on the list. The 23rd Detective Conan movie, Fist of Blue Sapphire, is another. Man, there are a lot of explosions in these movies. Anyway, the movie starts with a secret meeting between a man and a woman in Singapore, and some actually good English. After the meeting, the man and woman are seen exiting from different elevators, and the woman starts walking unsteadily and collapses, revealing she was stabbed in the back, at which point the explosion happens and a panic ensues, causing everyone to exit the building except the aforementioned man, who covers up the woman's body to preserve the scene of the crime, because he used to work with the police, as we later find out. And in the elevator where the woman was stabbed, a peculiar item is found covered in her blood, namely Kaido Kid's card. Later, Kid announces he will steal the Fist of Blue Sapphire, a jewel engraved in the championship belt of a karate tournament that Sonoko's boyfriend Makoto will participate in, and is being guarded by the man from the start of the movie named Leon, and who also wants the sapphire, so he has one of his men enter the tournament to win the belt for him. And so Kid disguises as Shinichi again and smuggles Conan in a suitcase with him and disguises him as a Singaporean by giving him a spray tan? When did he manage that? He brought Conan with him to help him figure out why he is being framed for murder while he tries to steal the sapphire, but Leon seems to constantly be one step ahead of him, managing to foil his first attempt and framing him for another murder during his second attempt to steal the sapphire. Add to that him pulling some mentalist mind games on Makoto to get him to quit the tournament, and you have one detestable antagonist you want to see taken down. This is one of those movies that are just fun to watch. The story is good and all, but anytime Kid and Conan share the screen together, in general, not just in this movie, is a blast, because of how well they work off of each other. And seeing how they are together on screen for almost half of the movie, there was hardly a time I wasn't entertained by them. The movie also adds elements of a battle shonen in the mix with the inclusion of Makoto and a romance subplot between him and Sonoko, which was quite sweet, so I didn't mind it one bit. All in all, one of the more enjoyable movies, and I place it about the 4th one on the list. And finally, the 24th Detective Conan movie, The Scarlet Bullet. And could it be? A Detective Conan movie without any Well, at least they held back until the end of the movie. Anyway, this time Conan has to save the Olympic Games. No, sorry, the World Sports Games. Totally different thing. The culprit this time is targeting sponsors of the WSG, by kidnapping them and leaving them in an easily found location, mimicking a kidnapping spree of sponsors of the WSG from 15 years ago. This time one of the victims was Sonoko's father, who was kidnapped during the reveal ceremony for the new super fast magnet train dubbed the Japanese Bullet. And as luck would have it, Conan and the detective boys were also attending the party and were able to track him down using some advanced detective tactics. So as thanks for finding her father, Sonoko gets them tickets for the train's first voyage. But when it is revealed that one of the VIP passengers may be another kidnapping target, the children, except Conan and I of course, are distracted by getting tickets for the Kamen Yaiba show on the same day, and are so pretty much removed from the movie this time round. And instead, we have a new addition to the cast in the form of the FBI and the Akai family, who are featured prominently in this movie. Well, Shuichi and Masumi are at least, but the others help out. And that's pretty much all I can say without spoiling anything. So what do I think of the movie? It's fine. It's a perfectly serviceable movie, but it doesn't do anything new or interesting enough to differentiate itself from the other Detective Conan movies or other similar movies. It's a perfect example of mediocrity, and because of that, it goes below the 18th movie on the list. Whew, that took a while, but we made it through, so let's take a look at the finished list. Here it is! Man, it seems I really like movies taking place on planes or other aerial vehicles. Anyway, that's it for me now, until there's a new Detective Conan movie. See ya then! Bye!
Harder, Daddy. What?